Another episode of TPC. Let's do the Week 18 predictions. This is the final week of the NFL season before playoffs. Let's start with today's games. Pretty much, Bucks versus Tampa Bay. Pretty much, this is a division game. Matter if anything, it's in Tampa Bay. This is going to be a competitive game pretty much for both these teams. Ty, what's your thoughts about this game? If you had to say coming in.
Both these teams, especially the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, are pretty cold right now. They started off really hot this season. Baker Mayfield looked like an MVP. Mecca Egbuka looked like the runaway offensive rookie of the year halfway through the season, and it all just basically collapsed, giving the Carolina Panthers kind of a way to the playoffs for the first time since 2017, I believe. And honestly, I think the Carolina Panthers will get it done today. I really have a feeling that Bryce Young will play like Alabama Bryce Young and come out and just slinging it. Ted McMillan will prove why he's the offensive rookie of the year over Tyler Shugg and Mecca Egbuka. So I'm kind of excited for this game. Give me the Panthers on this one.
Also, I'm going to take the Panthers in this game. Also, I think this is going to be Bryce Young's bright. He's been phenomenal this year. Okay, but this is when the lights matter. Everything's going to point at him. This is his primetime game, pretty much. Can he put the Panthers back in the playoffs for the first time since 2017, since the Cam Newton era? Can it be the Bryce Young era? I think he could do it today, get it done, and T-Mac and Chuba or Rico and the defense with Derek Brown and J.C. Horn, those guys, and Trevor Morgan are phenomenal, okay? The thing about the Buccaneers, they're spiraling. Baker Mayfield is looking like himself that last year of Cleveland when he sucked and everything. He's injury prone right now. The O-line's not good. The Bucs are finally falling down, okay? And the thing is, I picked the Panthers, not like pick, but like I picked them to win the division because I'm so stereotypical with my picks because like I'm so weird with these weird stats. There's this weird stat. When the Panthers win the division, and anytime they win when it's Ohio State win the title, J-Lo breaks up, and with that whole thing, and to play the Jags week 1, they go on to win the Super Bowl or go to the Super Bowl. Okay, I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl this year, some way, somehow. I just mark my words. I will.
Some way, somehow, they go to the Super Bowl. We'll
If
see.
they win this game, that's the thing. If they somehow win this game, but this is an interesting fact. If the Bucks win this game, they got to pray for the Falcons to lose. They got to pray for the Saints to some way win this game for them because it will be a three-way tie, and the Panthers will have the head-to-head over because the Falcons got swept by them, and the Bucks split the series. That would be insane right there, if anything.
Yeah, I could also see that happening. I have a feeling that might be the outcome, but I mean, I really want the Panthers to win this game.
I do too, and I think Bryce Young is going to have a breakout game. This is going to be a phenomenal game. But this is when the Bucks lose this game, what do you go in the offseason with? What's your mindset? What is like you had injuries all year. You were 5-1 this year, looking really good, and now you went on a 6-game. How many games are they losing now? I think it's like been.
I don't know. I think they might be like
they're on a 4-game, 1-6 right now. Their only win is against the Cardinals. It was a 3-point game.
Oof.
Like, we forget this team was, in week 8, heading their bye, I think 6-2. And they have spiraled, losing their last 6 out of 1 for 7, I think, right now.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Tampa Bay. I feel like the first thing they got to do is move on from Todd Bowles.
Yes.
And get an offensive-minded head coach. Liam Cohen leaving, people didn't really see it as a problem, more of like a problem for Jacksonville. I felt like a lot of people kind of blew off the fact that Liam Cohen is one hell of a coordinator. You saw what he did in Jacksonville this year, making Trevor Lawrence looking like his old self. And I feel like that is one of the things, defensive mind, Todd Bowles hasn't been looking like a defensive mind. Their defense has been getting, I think, like 20 or over per game this year. And it's just been like, wow. And the games they do win, they're really close games, and they're also high scoring. So, yeah, I feel like the first thing they got to do is move on from Todd Bowles and kind of redesign that defensive too. We'll see though.
I definitely think that you got to resign this whole team. You went from starting really good and then it just flopped around pretty much. And I think it's not Baker Mayfield's fault. You still have him for 2 more years. Mike Evans, we don't know how many years he got. Mike, Chris Godwin, they got like a couple more years in their primes a little bit. But it's going to be interesting what Tampa Bay goes from because this is going to be the first time since 2019 if they haven't made the playoffs. So it's a whole different era for them, if anything. Enough of that, though. Let's talk about the primetime game for tonight. Pretty much number 1 seed right there for the hands. You got Niners versus Seattle in and San Fran, pretty much. Who do you think you have in this game? If you could say, because both these teams are
The one
red
thing
hot.
is, and I've seen this throughout so many years, and I've witnessed it as a fan of this man. Sam Darnold is not a clutch quarterback. Give me San Francisco in a blowout. In a
I
blowout.
will always, I will also take San Fran in this game. I think Sam Darnold. This happened to him last year. At this point, we remember this number one seed battle. You're heading in Detroit, looking really good. Who gets that first seed? Who drops the fifth seed? San Fran should dominate in this game. I think what San Fran did in the game, gained the win over the Bears in a good fashion, pretty much a shootout game. Brock Purdy, that was his game. That's when Brock Purdy showed that he is not a game manager. We were waiting for so long for a game that says, can he win in a shootout? He won on a shootout by himself. No Kittle, no Ayuk, kind of Ayuk's been out. No Trent Williams, and the defense, no Fred, no Nick. It was Brock Purdy, and he did phenomenal in that game on Sunday night last week. So, give me the Niners in this game, and I think CMC and these guys are going to expose Seattle's lackluster defense because that defense, man, it's like phenomenal, but it sucks. It's weird. I don't get it. They depend so much on the turnovers because if they don't get turnovers, they fall apart pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen them get to the quarterback much this year, but I mean their secondary is pretty solid. But yeah, I feel like Christian McCaffrey has a really big game in this one. I feel like they're playing it against Brock Purdy. Saw what he did last week against the Bears, and we'll kind of forget the fact that Christian McCaffrey, even though he's kind of aging, is still top 3 running back in the NFL.
Yeah, only at age 29, 28, I believe CMC's age. I mean, still 1,000 yards. He had 2,000 from scrimmage yards. I think he had like a record or something like that. Was consistent with that. I mean, he's leading the team in receiving, led the team in rushing. This guy's been everything for this team pretty much. Honestly, the MVP for this team, leading this team to the playoffs. Seattle, it's a great team, but we've seen this before with Sam Darnold. He always chokes some way, somehow. If Seattle loses first round, that would just be such a disappointing year. Because you went from top seed contending team to just losing first round whoever you play. That would just be devastating, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I feel like Seattle's due for a loss. They look strong in the past few weeks. Escaped that LA game. And that Carolina game, it looked rough, but they got it done. But yeah, go back to what you were saying about the
They also had a tough. But the thing is about LA game, I mean, they came back 16 points, went to overtime, went for 2, ballsy, sacked their nuts. Okay, the week before that, they almost lost to Philip Rivers at home. Their kicker won the game for them. He kicked 7 field goals in that game. He was the only scorer. Okay, this is the thing about Sam Darnold in this offense. I can't understand. They go from one of the best offenses with JSN for the couple weeks. So it's JSN, give the ball to JSN. They take away JSN. Okay, now it's Rashid. We'll see how that goes. And Troy Horton, I don't know how Troy Horton's been. I haven't paid attention to him. And the run game is like, who's going to be the really back? Kenneth Walker's going to hit 100 yards pass last week, but like it's so mediocre with Charbonnet and him sharing carries with their. It's the same exact team from last year, like Minnesota, man. They're just going to fall down some way, somehow. And then this is going to build Sam Darnold's resume. Is he just a regular season merchant now? Is he building that narrative? He's just a regular season quarterback, pretty much.
Yeah, we'll have to see, but yeah.
Definitely. And also the question that Trent Williams is questionable in this game, and George Kittle, so it's still up in the air if they're going to play or not. So we'll see how that goes. Now, heading to Saturday games, pretty much. We'll run this quick. Cincinnati versus Cleveland. Joe Burrow and these guys should get the win in the comfortable fashion. Will Myles Garrett get the record? Do you think Myles is going to get the record this week? Is he going to break it?
Did you see Joe Burrow's interview?
I did not see it. What did he say?
I think it was kind of shots towards Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. He was basically saying that he was looking to win the game more than kind of not let Myles Garrett get the sack record. So, yeah, I do think Myles Garrett will get it. And on one of the league's top quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, which is pretty cool to do.
Yes, definitely. And also Joe Burrow is one of the most sacked quarterbacks, so he should easily get that, in my opinion.
Yeah,
so
that O-line is abysmal.
Pritchett, if anything. Yeah, and now going to another game. Let's talk about Atlanta versus New Orleans. This is a very interesting, this game, I mean, Atlanta's building momentum heading into next year, building Raheem Morris's scat to come back for next year, okay? But the Saints, though, they're building their resume to contend pretty much for the next coming years with Tyler Scholl and Kellen Moore. I mean, what they've done for the past 3 games, Tyler Scholl, you know what's crazy? He has more 300-yard passing yards game, 300 yards passing than Drake May right now in his career.
Jeez.
Yeah. So this dude Tyler, I wasn't a big fan of Tyler coming in. I was so against him, like who the hell is this guy? But what he's done for the past 3 weeks for this, 4 weeks been on a 4 week winning streak right now since Tampa Bay. I mean they've been looking phenomenal. They're just building that momentum heading next year, and it's kind of looking like, do you even draft a quarterback or do you go get a signed veteran? Do you go get Kyler Murray or Tua? Like get a veteran to build competition. You know that? You know what I mean? See if they got some competition in that area, pretty much.
Yeah, I feel like the thing about Tyler Shug is he's good, but he's 26 years old. So I mean,
he'll be 27 to
the
start
only
week
thing.
1 next year. 27.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I don't think they'll get Tua. Maybe Kyler. I think Tua is honestly going to go to the Colts.
Ooh, okay.
They need someone there. And I don't know about the Daniel Jones situation right now. You know, he's coming off a torn Achilles, but we'll figure that out upcoming weeks. The Saints Falcons game, I'm pretty excited for this one, and I honestly will pick the Saints to win because actually no, scratch that. Chris Olave is out. I just remembered that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bijan Robinson will have a strong game coming into this one, and I feel like the Falcons are going to try to start to get it figured out, especially with that win over the Rams, and kind of build momentum going into the next season. You know, these late games for teams that aren't the worst, but aren't like contenders for even a playoff spot, kind of need to build this momentum to go into the next season, to kind of build that confidence and kind of build get the fans more engaged, because if you lose like multiple games going into next year, you know, you lose the fan kind of interest. And I feel like this is a big game, even though a lot of people on paper don't really think it is. But yeah, give me the Falcons in this one.
You know, I'll also take the Falcons in this game. I think the Falcons should win this game comfortable heading into next season. And also, they have nothing to play for because they have no draft pick. You forget that. They don't got a draft pick, so they just want to win more games, so they just get better percentage. And they'll finish third in the conference, so they'll probably play like a team like maybe the Rams next year again, Washington, and Green Bay, I believe, will be there. Or Detroit or Minnesota will be their third seed teams, pretty much playing with those guys. So building momentum heading next year. And another thing is going to be conversation with Michael Penix situation. What is that going to be? Is Michael Penix your quarterback for the future, or are you still going to? I say keep Kirko still. I mean, that boy Kirko has been solid right now. Okay, I think if you keep that QB competition when you got a veteran and a young quarterback, keep that competition going. In my opinion, don't let Kirko go yet. If anything, if you get Kirko gone away, send him back to Minnesota. If anything, or like get at least a second round, third round, because this dude Kirko can be a starting quarterback in this league because he's been decent in the past couple weeks. Got to say.
Yeah, I 100% agree, especially with the Kyle Pitts emerging again, looking like the prospect they kind of drafted back in 2021. It's been good to see, especially with all the hate he's received for the past few years. Him getting more engaged with the offense is really good to see. And, you know, Bijan's Bijan still, and Drake London's Drake London. Easily can get you 150 yards and multiple touchdowns in a game. Yeah, I actually like the decision if they do go with Kirk next year.
Hold up.
No worries.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay, my AirPods went out for a second. All right, we're gonna talk like this.
Oh, no worries.
Definitely. All right, so I agree with that, whatever you said in the past thing. So, kind of lost you there, but you know the Falcons should win this game comfortably. Heading to another game, Minnesota versus Green Bay. Minnesota's favorite in this game. Pretty much, I think everyone's benching. I think Green Bay's benching everyone for this game. I heard.
Have they clinched the playoff game? They did.
They're clinched. I think they're
loss.
benching
Okay.
everyone
Okay.
to rest for that 7 seed because they can't move up at all.
Yeah, I feel like they do want to play the Chicago Bears, especially the team that they they know and everything. So
Yeah, I definitely think they'll rest. And then now this also builds momentum for J.J. McCarthy. If he does phenomenal in this game, there's Justin Jefferson got asked this question. He doesn't mind who his quarterback is. He knows that J.J. McCarthy's young. He's getting better every week. Hopefully J.J. hits 1,000 yards this week. Consistent receiver right there. But with the Vikings win this game, they'll be 9-8, third seed of their conference, of course, right there. Heading into next year, you're going to lose Brian Flores. no matter what. His contract's up. You're going to lose Brian, and it kind of sucks because this defense was phenomenal. And it opens the question: where does Brian Flores go?
Um, honestly, I could see the Cardinals. I feel like they have to fire. What's it?
Do you think they said they're not going to fire Jonathan? They're not going to fire Jonathan. It came out.
I mean, it's his third year, and they went 3-13. Like, I know a lot of people think the Cardinals will be really solid next year, but that division is just so like rough right now. Whereas
It is.
you can't really go anywhere right now. Just rebuild for the next 3-4 years and kind of pray that something like a miracle works out for you. I could honestly see maybe the Titans, or honestly the Steelers. I wouldn't be surprised by that if they got rid of Tomlin.
That would be honestly interesting if they got rid of Tomlin. Because Brian Flores, he deserves a shot. He deserves to be a head coach again. What he did in Miami was unbelievable because like he had a winning record every year except his first year, if I'm correct. I mean, when he had a winning record with Ryan Fitzpatrick one year, bro. Like this guy was phenomenal his last season, and I'm really like, I'm concerned if you get Brian Flores as a head coach. I think he'll be phenomenal. Your defense is gonna be top tier. My top teams is Tennessee, New York. But if he does take a step back and just be a coordinator again, I would love him to come to Dallas. I would love him to come to Dallas because Dallas would be right there. You get a job right there, right away. You see what Dan Quinn did. He got a job right there. Right after his 3 years with the Cowboys, got a job right there. So that would be honestly my favorite thing, but I doubt that's going to happen. So I think Brian Flores is going to get a head coach job in this thing. There is also talks about Cleveland firing Kevin Stefanski after this game. Also. So that could be an opening spot for Cleveland right there. So, yes. Enough of that game right there. Dallas versus New York. I didn't need to say anything. Dak Prescott's playing this game. Cowboys fair 3.5. Cowboys should dominate in this game for a fashion. I think the Cowboys are going to kill the Giants. It's nothing. I mean, no Javonte, no Overshow, but they see D and George Pickens. These guys are going to destroy them. Dak doesn't lose in New York. Dak hasn't lost in New York since we were in 5th grade. So,
jeez.
Yeah. It's been over a decade since the last time. It's crazy. Tennessee versus the Jags. Let's do a duo game pretty much right here. Houston playing Indy. Jags playing Tennessee. Both these games kind of matter for the playoff matchup, okay? Jags win this game. They get the 3rd seed or 2 seed right here. And Houston, if they win this game, they get the 5th seed, I believe, if I'm correct. But an interesting thing is if the Jags lose, Houston wins. Houston gets his 3rd seed, I believe, or the 2nd seed. I don't know what it's going to be. But, like, they get that seed spot. And the Jags, they could honestly fall all the way from either 5, 6, or 7. They could fall all the way down, depending what happens this week. Because if the Chargers win, they will be the 5th. They'll be the 6th seed. And if the Bills win, they'll be the 6th seed. And then the Jags will be the 7th seed at 12-5.
It's pretty interesting right there. I feel like the Jaguars do get it done though against the Titans.
They should.
In the home too. Yeah. And honestly, I do think the Texans will get it done against the Colts. Get that 5th seed.
Yes, and then Phillip, we already know Phillip is not even playing this game. He's officially retiring. He will be benched. Riley Leonard's going to play this game. So Houston and both these teams should win their games. You know, Tennessee heading into next year. Tennessee, build Cam Ward. Build around Cam Ward. Give him an O-line. Get Cliff Kingsbury, in my opinion, as a head coach for him. And just overall, draft. I say you go get Bane from Miami. What he's doing right now is a game record. Imagine him and Jeffrey, dude. That would be insane right there.
Yeah, I really like Bane. Bane's been really good, especially in this playoffs. You know, against Ohio State too. He got pressure on so many defensive plays, and the Titans really need someone on defense. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they went Jordan Tyson either. You know, they need a receiver for Cam Ward, and you can't give them these practice squad players. You can't set them up for failure. And you know, compared to what his stats are looking like and who he has around him, he looks like the QB1 in Tennessee for a long time. I'll give him his props. You know, he's looked great. He hasn't really complained to the media. Him and Justin Jefferson are 2 guys that I'll give props to this year. And if there was an award for guys who just don't complain, both of them would be co-winners of it because these 2 guys have been put through terrible situations and they aren't complaining. And that's what you really want to see, especially from your franchise quarterback. So, yeah.
Definitely. And both these phenomenal for both these guys right there, being a team player at this. And Cam Moore, he's looking phenomenal. One of the most underrated first overall picks, in my opinion. His story's so amazing, so I hope the best for him. And Indy, they don't even got their first overall picks. They're not even it. It's so cryptic right now with this team. It's so screwed up. They went from 8-2, looking phenomenal, and they just fell apart. I don't even know what's going on in their future, man. No clue.
I don't even know if they'll be that good next year. I don't want to be biased for the Jets, but it's like, do they have anything special going into next season? Or are they glorified New York
Aging.
Jets?
Aging.
You have Sauce Gardner, and it's kind of the same situation the Jets have been put through. It's like, you have a lot of upcoming free agents. I believe Alec Pierce is also a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
And the direction of quarterback. Do you trust a guy who has proved his point or has proved his kind of worth with the team, bringing them to a great record, but he's coming off a torn Achilles, and it's really hard to come off these injuries and put up those numbers again. So, what do you think they'll have to do to kind of improve and not let the Jets get a top 10 pick next year?
This is probably the worst situation the Colts fans can pray for, man. This is the one thing, because I knew the Colts, it was too good to be true. The Colts find a way to choke. And this was the worst outcome. Losing your starting quarterback on a 1-year contract, and you have nothing. Unless you plan for Anthony Richardson to hopefully plan out. But that experiment is done. You got to go veterans. You guys use. I think the Colts just keep veteran route. You can't draft the quarterback until like a few of the future. You got to keep going the veteran route. Maybe it's what you said with the Tua situation. You'll get a type of quarterback coming in, and we'll work with that system. Because I don't think Shannon Gansky can coach a damn young quarterback. I think he just wants a quarterback that can just develop quick, so he can win now with this roster. Because the Colts are a win now roster. They established that. Everyone's aging on that team. They got to win. So you got to go get a quarterback next year who can win for this team. Maybe Tua might be that guy for them.
Yeah, obviously they have a top 5 running back, and the receiving core is really not as bad. The defense is solid. I don't know really what happened. I feel like just kind of momentum kicked their ass basically, and the schedule got really tough towards the end of the season. I feel like they benefited off of a really easy schedule to start the season, and put all their chips into one pile and said, let's go get Sauce Gardner at the trade deadline, give them 2 first-round picks and a young, promising wide receiver who really didn't work out and they really didn't need. And I feel like it's kind of coming back to haunt them.
Definitely. That shows you how the NFL works, man. It's a roller coaster. Enough of that game, pretty much. Buffalo versus New York. Buffalo should dominate against your Jets. I'm sorry. Y'all are actually tanking, though. Y'all actually are tanking. That's the thing. Y'all are actually
First time I've ever seen this team actually be like, all right, let's tank.
That is shocking. With another games, Chicago versus Detroit. I think Detroit wins this game. Detroit's so pissed off right now how they lost in their performance. I think they beat Chicago. I think they're so pissed off with everything right now. And
yeah, I completely agree.
Because how they could have won that game against Minnesota on Christmas. The offense looked terrible. Nothing could have done anything. Jared Goff had, I believe, 5 turnovers that game himself. It was a Blismuth game on Christmas, losing to a quarterback who had a total of almost 3 yards, I believe, net yards. It was the only touchdown they had was Jordan Addison's end around. That was it. So they got to fix something up. Dan Campbell has to get a new OC. Maybe Brian Dable, maybe someone, I don't even know. They got to get some new voices in that organization to keep it up, because this team we went from first year Dan Campbell 13-3-1. You got the 9-8 year, then you got the 13-4 year, went to NFC Championship, and then you got the other year went 15-2, got bounced first round, and then this year unbelievably 9-8. It shows you how the NFL works, man. You can be the top dogs for 2 seasons and fall apart the next year.
Yeah, I think they'll bounce back next year. There's just too much talent on this roster. But the problem is with this roster is, a lot of these guys are on rookie contracts. They nailed home runs basically back-to-back drafts. Getting guys like Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell, even
Branch.
the years before, Brian Branch. And it's just like Amon-Ra St. Brown in 2021 and Kirby Joseph, and trading for Jared Goff, giving him the keys to the organization. And it worked out, but this team's basically in their win now, and I feel like next year will be the win now year. I know a lot of people said last year was their 1 year to win it, and they lost an offensive coordinator, but I feel like there's still too much talent on this roster to give up right now and kind of start a rebuild and end the Jared Goff experiment. But I feel like when you have a Ben Johnson in the building, I wouldn't be surprised if teams in the future fire head coaches and keep a promising young offensive coordinator, especially like Ben Johnson, maybe even Liam Cohen. Like, you can't let these guys leave the buildings, especially. One of my friends said Dan Campbell is just basically a cheerleader and just benefited off of Ben Johnson's offense, and it's looking like that this year.
Definitely it is, honestly. It is. I mean, don't get me wrong, okay? Their offense is good. They've been high scoring every single game. They're averaging 40. The defense has been terrible. I don't even care. They've been saying, oh, the defense has been solid this year. No. That guy who's coaching the defense, I know he's a former linebacker. He does not know what the hell he's doing. He can't run man, zone, anything. That man's terrible. I'm sorry. The defense has fell apart. Aaron Glenn was actually, what he did with that defense is unbelievable. I think we have to discredit that, okay? That's the thing. We forget that. Aaron Glenn was a really good DC, minus that final game. Because the injury started building up with that. Because I just that defense sucks now. It is terrible.
Yeah, it's been really bad this year.
Yeah. Now Chicago, if they lose this game, they get the 3rd seed, dude. They get that 3rd seed, and they don't play Green Bay. They'll play, maybe LA or maybe San Fran. One of those two.
That's good. That's a rough thing for them. I mean, having such a good year and winning your division and then having to play LA or San Francisco, it's like, jeez.
But it's in Chicago. That's the thing. I like this matchup for them. It's in the cold weather. We know how those West Coast teams can't travel cold weather. They can't. They suck in the cold weather. They can't. That's the one thing I've noticed. They can't travel well in those cold. So maybe that could be a beneficial for them. I do like Chicago's matchup against LA or San Fran than Green Bay. I think they play Green Bay, they're bounced out. They're losing
I agree. Green Bay. Honestly, agree with that.
I don't like their matchup against Green Bay. I don't.
Yeah. Do you think the Bears could honestly purposely lose this game just based off of matchup implications for the?
I think so. You split the series with Green Bay. Both games were tough. You almost lost to the practice squad team in the last game. You got to think about what you matter to the team. Do you value the long-term home field advantage or a longer playoff run? That's what you have to depend on, in my opinion. And enough of that. Kansas City versus Vegas. Kansas City should win this game because Vegas is tanking for that first round pick. They came last week, tanked that game against the Giants. So they're getting Fernando. Fernando is their quarterback.
Dude, honestly, I saw something and I completely agree. Fernando Mendoza is probably like the Raiders' dream because you have this kind of nerdy dude who would sit and study rather than go out and just party in Vegas. It's just perfect, honestly. Shout out the Raiders for getting their guy.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of happy. And now, if Pete Carroll gets fired, I saw this came out today. What if they get Clint Kubiak from Seattle? And I saw this thing, Derek Carr or David Carr was pitching the idea of Derek Carr coming back. How do you feel about that?
Derek Carr coming back to the Raiders?
As a veteran quarterback to help Mendoza to be, don't rush Mendoza right away in that system, because we rush these rookie quarterbacks so fast, let them develop for a couple years. How do you feel about that if that does happen?
I honestly don't hate it because, that O-line is, I'm going to say ass, just straight ass. And, when you throw a quarterback into basically the pit of hell, we've seen this throughout many, many times. And, some of them don't break out and lose their confidence and basically become busts. And it's not because they're not talented. These guys are extremely talented. It's just they lose their confidence and kind of lose the will to play this game. And I think Derek Carr coming back to help Mendoza could be great for Mendoza's kind of, what's that word I'm looking for? Development. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely can, and I would love to see that, and I hope the Raiders get the first overall pick. I really do. And Kansas City, it's gonna be a while. We're gonna see Kansas City in 27. That's all I gotta say. We'll see them in 27. You will see them. You
think they go Jeremiah Love, or do you think paying a rookie running back top dollar right now is not the thing they need?
I say go get Breece Hall. Breece Hall is going. I think you go get Breece. Go get Breece Hall. You try to do it at the deadline, and I think you try to go get him this offseason.
Yeah. Do you think the Jets then get Jeremiah Love?
Jeremiah Love, Dante Moore. How would that feel?
I like our O-line.
I like y'all's O-line too. imagine that though. How would you feel about that? You get Jeremiah Love, the best running back, and you get Dante Moore, who's been really good right now, coming off that Texas Tech win. Almost, that defense was crazy, but he did his best, man.
Dude, I don't know how the hell he did that. Shout out him. And that pick was on 4th down, so it's like, the numbers were there, completion percentage was there, and he played his game. Having Dante Moore on the Jets, we gotta bring someone in to kind of start over him.
Veteran. You gotta get a veteran. Of course, you can't rush it. You can't have a Zach Wilson or Sam Darnold situation like that. Rush him right away. I mean, y'all have been in that same situation over and over. So, I don't really know who's a good veteran. I mean, Joe Flacco, if he stays.
Malik Willis.
Oh, Malik. Get Malik. See the QB competition right there. Because Dante Moore, he's going to be 20, right? Or 21 heading this draft, right? He's going to be 21.
He'll be 20.
20. Yeah,
20.
You got it. I say Malik. Malik honestly might be perfect for y'all. Yeah, that might be the move.
Or Justin Fields. Keep him for another year and just...
Well, you did sign him for a contract. You did sign him on a
2-year, $40 million.
Yeah. So it could work like that.
Marcus Mariota would work. Yeah, but we'll have to see.
Definitely. LA versus Arizona. LA should dominate this game. Coming off that loss against Atlanta, they should get their get back. They kind of shot themselves in the foot, but they should win that game. New England versus Miami. New England. I mean, Quentin Ewers has been phenomenal, but New England, they're trying to get a contender. If they lose this game, it's whatever because they'll be the 2nd seed. They're not dropping anything farther, so it's either one seed or 2 seed pretty much for them.
Yep.
And then Philadelphia. I am upset with Philadelphia right now. They're benching their starters for this game. They're benching their starters against Washington. They're planning for that 3rd seed right now, and it seems like they don't want to play Green Bay first round. I don't get it.
Yeah, that's surprising. I mean, I guess a lot of people don't want to play Green Bay, but I look at Green Bay's defense. It's pretty injured right now. Michael Parsons is out. They bring in Trayvon Diggs, but he's kind of
158.3 passer rating. Just saying. That is what he allows. Perfect.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see.
I do not care about that guy. That guy is toast right there. He's out of it. Then the final game of the year, Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. Heading into Pittsburgh. Sunday night, old AFC North battle right here. Who do you have, Ty?
Give me the Baltimore Ravens. I'm sorry, Pittsburgh, but I mean, Derrick Henry is looking hot right now. Lamar Jackson's been brought up in the media as like one of the names to see this offseason, and I guess this is going to add fire to his flame. I think Lamar Jackson's going to play pissed in this game. A lot of people are writing him off, and I think the Ravens get it done. The Steelers are 9-8, 9-8 team all year, yeah. And you got to discuss Mike Tomlin's future, but give me Baltimore in this one.
I'm also going to take Baltimore in this game. I trust what Derrick Henry did on that game against last Saturday was unbelievable. That man had 216 yards with 4 touchdowns. That man he owned the Green Bay Packers last week. And the Green Bay is a good defense. We forget that. And what he did was unbelievable. And the Ravens defense, don't get me wrong, it was very mediocre. I mean, Malik Willis looked phenomenal. But this is the worst thing the Steelers could have had. Heading a primetime game like this. I know you're at home, but there's something with this Ravens team because this might be the last time we ever seen Lamar Jackson in a Ravens jersey we could. Well, this could be the last time of this Ravens era, of the Roquan, the Kyle Hamiltons, the Marlon Humphrey, the whole team era done. Because I think the Ravens are going on a hard rebuild after this year. Hard rebuild. New head coach, new team, and everything. And it goes back to what you said. Also, the whole Mike McDaniel thing. About how about the coaches, they should get rid of their coordinators. Get rid of the coaches before the coordinators leave, pretty much. Like they should have kept Mac McDonald, pretty much. So,
completely agree.
Yes. So, enough of these games. I can't wait for these playoff matchups, though. These are going to be phenomenal games. Can't wait for the game for today and tonight. Thank you all for joining us for this episode of TPC. Like and subscribe. Get ready for Wednesday for a college semifinal prediction for us, okay? Like and subscribe.
Peace.